Hello everyone, and welcome to another 2v2 Terrible Division tournament cast. This time, we're covering a game in a series that already got half covered, or 2/3 covered, by Timed Collision. To check out the first two games, type !TC in the chat if you're watching it on Twitch, or if you're watching it on YouTube. You can find the link down in the description below to check out game number 1 and 2. So if you rather want to watch it from there, check it out first and then come back for game number 3 here. And who do we have here? On the left side, in blue, we have the team Bagel-Pioneers, which includes Nulla and the Cram Slam. And on the right, we have the team The Best, which covers Jack and Emperor Nate. Let's see if their team description also fits the outcome of the game, or if Nulla and Graham can take it away from them. It's a purely American matchup here, like 4 Americans against each other, with Jack, aka User 1, and Nulla and Graham and Emperor Nate. And Jack and Nate got the Soviets, they got Krupetsuk Logo and Kirina, versus Nulla with Ski Jaeger and the Cram Slam with 25th Panzer Grenadier. To remind you of the rule set for this tournament, the way it works is that your opponent gives you 6 divisions, and out of those 6 divisions you have to choose 2 to play. And that's why we end up with divisions that usually we don't see too often. With all of these, you usually don't see in any tournaments more than once or twice in like 100 games. But in this tournament, all of these are common show-ups, especially Turina. We saw quite a couple of times already. And on this map, usually this hill is where it's all about. Like, it's always a mess to fight about this hill. And both sides already bringing in off-map. First off-map plane killed off by the IL-2KR of Jack, the Turina IL-2KR. And he already brought in the U-2 Taman, the cluster plane, to try to hunt down some of the spare wagons. Let's see if it manages to get the kill there. Drops its payload, and gets the kill. Panzer Grenadiers unload just before that. ME-109 gets a shutdown onto the U-2, but it already paid off for itself. So that's pretty nice for Jack. T-34 coming up. Couple of Stokes down here, a lot of smoke over here. Like, classic American matchup. 2 mortars already firing. Surprised to not see any mortars on the other side, because usually Nulla and Graham are also really loving their mortars. So far, only Jack is using them. Back 38 over here gets killed off. Couple of AA pieces already on the way. Couple of 20mm with 1-star veterancy. But 3 of them, especially if they come in a bit late to start firing onto the IL-2KR, shouldn't be able to shut it down. If there would be 2-star veterancy, it might be a different story with some lucky crits, but 1-star veterancy shouldn't be enough. Ooh, when they run into the off-map, they have to be careful, yep. Nulla is reacting to that. And so far, the Germans win the hill. But obviously, the meat grinder just started. In the north, it's a standoff. Mexican standoff on both sides. With a bit more investment up here by the Soviets. The Best has invested a bit more. Strelky's coming in for the hill. On the other side, we see couple of artillery pieces already coming up. And another off-map run with the 172mm. The 76mm off-map of Jack firing once more over here. Stokes get the kill onto a T-34. Try to push through, and there's not much to stop them at the moment. And that might allow them to maybe get even a kill onto the ZSU here. For sure, get a couple of free shots onto some infantry. M42 alone shouldn't be able to stop them. We will see more Tamans coming in? I don't think so, because by now there's just too much AA to cover against the Tamans. Ooh, the Yak-9 goes deep. First one has to fall back, second one will get the kill, but first one already gets shut down by the AA. And the ME-109 should finish off the second one. Yeah, that one should be dead as well. AA and ME-109 get the kill on that one, so really pricey run there for Jack, and I don't think that was worth it at all. Like, this off-map plane already used 2 off-maps. So already did 2/3 of its job. And losing 2 Yak 9s for that, just to prevent the last one from happening, is not quite worth it. T-34-85 up here fighting. Has to fall back. The the Skier is one of the few Axis divisions that had their tanks getting a buff through the APCR changes, because obviously they use it. These bad boys. BMW commander coming in. Okay, so we got the first commander on the battlefield. Not so far on the Soviet side, so the veterancy advantage will go to the Axis. And Sturmtruppen MP44 goes down. Also, thanks to for the follow, Grimlex. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. 105mm artillery pieces now coming in onto the Strelkies. And Skiegers engaging over here. Yeah, but the AP drop-off of the T-34-85 also got buffed, so... It was just the APCR one. 105mm engaging over here. Off-map coming in over here as well. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, but it wasn't the same change, yeah. The 85mm gun, I think overall got buffed in its drop-off. IG-18 comes in over here. In the north, not much happening. 105mm number 3 coming in. So both sides really playing the 2v2 game. On this map, obviously you're rather limited in your options to push, because so much in the middle is taken away by this lake. With only one bridge over it. So yeah, and trying to cross this one often ends in suicide. Like, either you have to build up really heavily without the enemy noticing it, or like go for really well executed smoke push to cross this river. And even then you always can get cut off and so on by artillery. So pushing it through the middle is always rather rough on this map. So usually the fight is over here on the hill, or up in the north in the towns, or somewhere in this territory. But even like this territory is also rather small, so, and a lot of good hills to fire into it. So pushing here is also not that easy. So I'm prepared to see like 90% of the action going down here. Then maybe someone gets a sneaky setup in the north and starts pushing there. And then both sides will invest into the north. But for now we will stay around this hill. It's one of those 2v2 maps that I find most annoying to play on, because it's just such a grind. Like, it's somewhat comparable, I think, to Krupa in how it plays out. Sure, it's not completely cut off by a river, but like at least half of it is. But yeah, more artillery coming in for the Axis. First KV-2 hits the battlefield. First couple of mortars over here. Tiger coming in. Channels coming in as well. T-34 is pushing through over here. 105mm getting engaged by T-34s. Should be killed off. So that's a nice kill there on the first artillery piece. Yeah. Now the T-34s should disengage though. Under fire by Pak-38. And by artillery pieces. And the T-34-85 is also coming around. Ooh. Yeah, Panzerschreck gets the kill there, gets eliminated afterwards, but hey, it got the T-34 for its sacrificed. Another T-34 gets killed off by Panzerschrecks. So far the trades down here look a bit better for the Axis for sure. And I like the artillery park they're setting up. On the other side, it's only 2 mortars so far. Though obviously if you can fully supply them and they don't get hit by enemy artillery and anything, then you can deal quite a bit of damage with 2 mortars as well over time. So at some point I would like to see some of these artillery pieces starting to hit the mortars over here. Also the amount of smoke that was used in this area of the map is kinda insane. Half-tracks dropping out some Bagel-Pioneers into the other side of the forest. More mortars coming in for Nate. So both Soviet players have 2 mortars each on the battlefield. And Graham Slam and Nilla also have quite a couple of artillery pieces. Graham Slam retreating with one of his, realizing that it is vulnerable to attacks through the flank down here. Puck 38 is moving forward. I think it should move into the forest, no? Like, line of sight over here is not much better than it is from here. And here you're in green cover, so that's what I would prefer. T-34s try to push on the Stokes. They managed to do so, together with the M42. 3-star T-34 over here, as we have a leader around it, but I guess they come with the 2-star base veterancy, because I don't see a commander anywhere around. That's an interesting choice. What's on the other side? We already have the commander, so everything here has 2 or 3-star veterancy all around. T-34 over here tries to push alone, gets ambushed by the 2 T-34s of Nate and killed off. But the 3-star base, or like 3-star veterancy ski Jägers and so on over here hold on really well against Nate's 0-star infantry. Like, even though they're pretty low on manpower by now, just running into them doesn't work out, as they have an MG42, they have a couple of carabines, they will just push you back. Panzer Grenadiers over here coming in, and the hill fight continues. It's back to a 12-12 as Nate and Jack were able to secure the flag back here. And really no other flag has ever changed hands so far in this game. And both sides 100% commit now to this grind that is the middle hill. Both sides play Vanguard, so... And I just turned off my light. Both sides playing Vanguard, so in the late game, the amount of units coming in should slow down. We are in B phase now, but obviously the income difference between A and B is pretty minimal, so shouldn't expect much change in the pace just yet. But in C phase, if we get there, it should change, and with only 8 minutes 30 to get there, and both sides still having a lot of points and not looking like they will stop the grind anytime soon, I guess we will get there. And pretty deep into C phase as well, if nothing major happens in the next 3 to 5 minutes. Naval Warfare 41 coming in, interesting, because the Naval Warfare 41 is not known for being that good, and it's also really supply heavy, so I don't know if you just not just rather reload your normal artillery pieces and leave the Naval Warfare 41s be. Naval Warfare 42 is a different story, because that one has a lot of damage per rocket. Those rockets can kill tanks easily, and if they directly hit an infantry, this infantry is going down. But Naval Warfare 41's not quite the same story. Okay, so Nilla and Graham got the flag in the south. Jack and Nate got the flag over here, so they changed flags and kept it at a 12-12. Next off map though, coming in from Nate, cutting off the reinforcement road over here. And this is rather brutal. What kind of off map is this though? Is it another 70? No, it's a 152mm off map, so that also deals some damage. Martyrs might not like that one. Stooks should survive, but they will take some damage as well, and most likely be forced back as well if they get hit somewhat directly. Obviously it's the most inaccurate off map, so chances are that the Stooks don't get hit. Same goes for the Martyrs. But it will be a good off map no matter what, because the unit density around this hill is just insane. And especially with quite a lot of infantry units just driving into it, this gets even worse for the Axis players. They have to be really careful here. Graham realizing that he doesn't want to drive in there. First Martyr goes down to the off map. Stook and the other Martyr are forced back. And now Jack tries to roll in there with some half-tracks. No AT gun here in the back, which I think is an issue. Like, usually you want to have a fallback line of like 1 or 2 AT guns over here that hit anything that comes over the hill. Also, this Pak 38 is pretty bold, not gonna lie. Artillery pieces now fire onto more forward positions. Second off map from Jack coming in. Wait, that's a different off map then. Is that again the... This might be the 76. Yeah, this must be the 76mm off map once more. The half-tracks didn't surrender much. But yeah, Martyr went down, second Martyr is damaged, Stock is damaged. So the off map still did a decent job. Quite a couple of infantry units getting killed off as well. Question is, in the long run, is the artillery pack that Nilla and Graham have better than the off map that will run out at some point of Nate and Jack? I'm really surprised we don't see any counter battery on the side of Nilla and Graham against the mortars. And now the counter battery starts from the other side actually. Jack brings in 3 M30s and sets them on counter battery, and this might be devastating. If they have some lucky hits and start to take out the artillery pack of Nilla and Graham, then the long run aspect of it will die out. So like, they need this battery to go on for quite a while to get more value out of it than the off-map of Jack and Nate. Somehow though, with some nice smoke play, Graham was able to push in here, get a 13-11. Not quite sure if it is worth it though, for just a couple of seconds or minutes ticking down the other side. Spewagen 231, filling off some trophies. SK-18 now starts to fire back onto the M30s, so they start the counter battery action. Okay. Ski Jägers coming in numbers. 6 of them at once. And we're getting closer and closer to sea phase, and really nothing happening in the north or the center. It's like, I don't think there has been a single reinforcement in the last 10 minutes up in the north. Which is kind of insane, because this is smaller than a 1v1 map here. This is like half a 1v1 map that 2 players are fighting over. It's absolutely nuts. Ski Jäger's pushing in, Skalky's pushing in. Hey, Gunwellstock, how you doing? Naval Warfare 41, M30. Whoever gets out of this game really, like, can be happy, because they took out one of the other favorite teams, and both of these teams, because both of these teams are top tier teams in this tournament. So they have taken out one of their competitors, but they can't relax for too long, because in the next round, waiting for them are Pixie and Lolly. So whoever wins here still has a really tough match in round 2 awaiting for them. It's a really tough top path in the bracket for either of these teams. It's kind of insane. Whilst all the top Russian teams, like purely Russian teams, obviously Pixie is Russian as well, are in the southern bracket with Double Z, then the team of Grey Fox, which I forgot the name of, and then RKKA with Ember T. Oh no, that's also not a purely Russian team, because it's Quadro U and Grey Fox. And then you have RKKA with Ember T and Karma, which is obviously the favorite team of the tournament. The winner of the last league, together with one of the top players of all time in Eugen games. So yeah, quite a lot of high quality teams here in this tournament overall, and we will have to see how it goes on, but for now both of these teams are fighting for survival. It's game number 3. It's the elimination game in this best of 3. KV2 trying to hold the line, and Nate and Jack finally got themselves the 13-11. Pioneers coming in, Ski Jägers coming in as well. Hamsik, it depends on how close the enemy artillery is. Like, if you can hit 1 or 2 or 3 artillery pieces at once with them, I think they're pretty decent, because then the chance of at least killing 1 is good. But yeah, if the enemy is spreading a bit further out, I don't know if it's really worth it, because then the chances are you don't even kill the single artillery piece you're firing on, because on this range, naval rifles are kind of inaccurate already. So yeah, you have to be careful. Naval Rifle 42 over here gets reloaded. The counter battery is still going on both sides. And so far, not too many artillery pieces have been killed off on the side of Nilla and Graham, but they got rid of 2 M30s. So they're winning in that aspect. But at the same time, the off-map of Nate and Jack continues constantly, and the mortars also fire constant barrages into the center. So I don't know how much got lost over here. It's hard to keep up with the numbers of like units killed and so on. Like I know both sides bleed heavily up here, but I can't tell like who's losing more infantry and so on. I only know that both Bitsug Logo and First Ski Jägers are the most shallow decks in the game. Like, even if you try to build them really deep, it's hard to do so. So chances are that those 2 will run out first, and then 25th and Kirina will follow later, if we are going into the really long game here. But obviously it all depends also on the builds and so on. And I think we saw some T-34s, for example, with like at least like with 2-star veterancy earlier, so might be that actually the Soviets will run out first if they take cards like that. Stokes over here pushing from Nilla and Graham. Artillery in the south. Ooh, these mortar shots are good. Starting to pin down quite a couple of these tanks. Luckily for Nilla, the second T-34, the T-34 and the second Stuk don't get pinned, so for 2 T-34 76s, it would be still a tough job to kill off both of these. The penetration chances are rather low, especially against the T-34 85. But the mortar fire really starts to come in here. Stuk goes down. I had a lot more T-34 76s coming in, but Redgar's joining them as well. Ooh, Stuk. Next Stuk goes down. PE2 actually gets a run through, gets the T-35 killed off, because the AA here is pretty lackluster. And that's another issue with both Ski Jägers and 25th Panzer Grenadier, because both of those divisions have really weak AA. Like everything else they are pretty covered in. Like, they have okay amounts of tanks, they have really good amount of infantry, they have pretty solid amounts of artillery, but AA tabs, both of them are on the lowest end when it comes to AA tabs. So if the enemy can beat a couple of AA pieces and like kill off their fighters, or like keep their fighters at bay with 37mm, then these IL-2s and PE-2s become really, really dangerous for them in the long run. Ooh, ME-109 G4 should go back. Yeah, IL-2 doesn't get its runoff, but yeah, this could be a way to victory here for Jack and Nate, by just trying to snipe the remaining AA pieces here. And as they are all on unarmored vehicles, a couple of mortar shots will do if they land near to them. So yeah, this could be a way to victory here. Like, try to bait out the AA a bit, try to figure out where it is, and then start mortaring it. Because this is really the biggest weak spots for both of these divisions. Ski Jägers got a bit buffed lately, with the buff onto the availability of the 7, the STK at 7/2, but still it's pretty low numbers on pretty expensive slots. And I think 25th Panzer Grenadier is even worse. So it will be really interesting to see how this all plays out. So, yeah, here we go. Strelky getting hit. Battery Führer coming in. Ski Eagles and Sturm Eagles coming in as well. Panzer Grenadiers pushing here. 2. Couple of mortars coming in up in the north. 52P gets hit. Down here in the south. A lot of T-34s are amassing. Ski Fusiliers coming in here as well. And Strelky joining in. SK-18 coming in. And here we go. Like, yeah, it's back to a 12-12. Let's see who runs out first out of some stuff. Like AA could be important, infantry could be important, anti-tank could be important. Ski Eagers moving in. I'm really surprised no one ever tried to push in the north. As I said it, one Ski Eager is bold enough to cross the river. Like, yeah, it's insane how much pressure is onto the south and how chilled it is in the northern part of this map. Both sides completely ignoring that. To that extent that I think if you could like sneakily get some units up here on either side, you could surprise the enemy before they react in time. It would obviously mean though that you would reinforce the south a bit less than the other team, so that's obviously a bit dangerous. But by now I think both sides have good enough lines to hold on here for quite a while before being broken, so maybe a swift move in the north is the best way here, especially for the Soviets, who already have quite a bit more forces in here. Plus they have the air support. Like, they could use the air support up here instead of trying to run in here and getting stuck in the enemy AA. Like, that's always the most important thing about opening the other front up. Like, if you have the air support, you have easy support for that part of the map already available at your hand, and you don't have to run it into a enemy AA and risk it being shut down or something. Nebelwerfer is getting reloaded. In the artillery game, Nulla and Graham are winning at the moment. The mortars not being used too much lately, and by now the artillery park of Nulla and Graham should deal out more damage as well than the couple of mortars on the other side. They killed off all the M30s, so no risk of counter-batterying anymore. Okay. Yeah, this is so insane. 234 is pushing forward. I think it's really a missed opportunity if Jack and Nate don't push in the north. With their P2s and IL2s. Maybe bring in a 37mm to win out in dogfights as well. By having an AA piece up there. And then just push in there, because yeah, it's not like the other guys will break you in the south anytime soon, but you might lose the battle down here because they have the better artillery pack here. So, and as they are not taking out the enemy AA, I'm getting a bit worried for the Soviets. I'm starting to get a bit worried for them. Nebelwerfer 42 is now coming in, and yeah, they used all their off-map. They have less artillery now than the enemy, and stuff like the Nebelwerfer is just reloadable off-map at this point. T-34s not getting hit. Quite lucky there for... yeah, Jack is quite lucky there. Nilla pushing in. This took? Oh no, it's Mr. Graham. Bagel-Pioneers in a lovely spot down in the south at the moment, I think. T-70s coming in. Recon T-70s. Next Nebelwerfer barrage This time the naval rifle 41 onto the south, not dealing much damage either. Like, yeah. It hit pretty well here, but still didn't kill us, like only 1 or 2 infantrymen, if at all. Like, I haven't seen one going down, which is quite shameful for a unit that costs you so much ammunition and so much reload time. Like a naval rifle 41. But SK-18s and whatever these 105mm is, like the Falzerpizza, keep the enemy infantry out of the forest, because they keep it under constant barrage. Ooh, Native was able to bring in another off-map though. Where is it? I don't see the off-map vehicle, is it? Oh, I guess, yeah, it's another 152mm. We'll hit over here. But yeah, this is such a missed opportunity here in the north. Both sides keep on rushing in stuff in the south. It's kind of stupid by now. There is... Helljumper, you have the video series, right? If you want to, you can link them in the chat. That would be pretty nice of you. Yeah, or if anyone else could link it as well, yeah. Feel free to link the team game guide in there. Because it's a pretty good one. Ooh, naval rifles hit over here onto the 82mm mortars now. So they start to take out the artillery. It starts to look pretty good for the Axis. The off-map over here was harsh, but if they don't run out of stuff anytime soon, and it's only 30 minutes so far, so they still should have quite a bit of left. I could see them winning this hill fight, and just if they don't run out of supplies. Like, obviously this is all rather supply heavy, so I hope one of them has a sea phase card of supplies. Then they should be fine with this artillery pack. Like in the team game, I would always have one guy having the sea phase card, because 4-2 is usually enough in B. Like one guy supplying the B phase, one guy supplying the C phase. And then obviously also bring artillery in with supplies. Nate coming in here with the off map. Skiers trying to push forward, trying to get the 1311. What a crime. Like, really, with the air superiority, they should be able to take the north, no? Now we have Su-76 PTs coming in. The IL-2 flying in the back. But I'm not sure if it will get through, because there's still quite a bit of AA happening over here. I mean, they lost quite a couple of fighters early on, the Soviets, so in the north, like, they would need 1 or 2 more AA pieces, I think. But then, like, send in 2 AA pieces, get another fighter, and then maybe, like, a couple more tanks, like 2 minutes of income invested into the north. And you should be peachy there and just be able to push, because there's like 5 infantry squads, 2 AT guns, and a sniper, and that's it. Against already 3 tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 infantry squads, 2 half-tracks, and 2 AT guns. Like, yeah, with only minimal support, that easily takes out what the enemy have. Ooh, first AA piece taken out over here though. So they might even be able to use air in the south relatively soon, as the mortars take out the first one. But they don't focus on more than one. Okay, so P2 got his rockets off, but it was too inaccurate to kill anything with it. And the artillery barrage from the other side continues. Off map comes in. Might take out quite a couple more units, but yeah, this is really bloody. Yeah, like it's this. Only thing missing is the entrenchment option from breakthrough mode. Like both sides having trench network on either side of the hill. That would be the perfect representation of World War I here. Ooh. Stoke kills off T-34, and that's an advantage for Nilla and Graham here, that the best only have T-34-76s. Like, if they would have anything else, the Stokes wouldn't be that good. But against T-34-76s, Stokes are pretty decent. And so the tech advantage might actually go to them. But there will be a bit more T-34s on the other side than there will be Stokes. Plus, Su-76s are different stories, because they have a pretty high rate of fire. And with their 10 hit point change, they are actually rather dangerous for Stokes to fight against. Rather bad naval rifle battery again. This by now just feels like waste of ammunition. Kills one T-34, but is that really worth it? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. I think you should rather use your normal artillery and naval rifle 42s. Maybe like one or two, like one naval 41 to like pin down stuff, but doesn't kill stuff, so it's a bit of a waste of ammunition for that in that regard. It might actually allow you to run out of ammunition here, because these are really hungry when it comes to eating up supply trucks. 13-11 again for Nilla and Graham as they take the flag over here, just to lose it once more. But they at least got near the half point now of taking down Jack and Nate. Ooh, but those now use rocket artillery as well. Andreyusha 300mm rockets hitting all around these Pak-38s and Stokes, which have to fall back. But the Andreyusha on this range also rather inaccurate, so gets finally a kill onto something. Panzergrenadier is going down as well. All the other hits though rather far off target. MG42 gets the kill onto the Sniperi. Milchkäse? Not really. Like, I'm thinking about taking in the taking in one infantry like recon unit, but actually, as I don't want to play that division on cell anyways, on all the other map it's pretty fine as it is. So yeah. The only thing I changed is one IG card for another Panzer for support slot for an F1. Yeah, no, Katyusha and Naval Weapon 41 are both pretty shitty at the moment. Like, they just use too much supply to be worth the effect. Like, they have really long reload time, and sure, they do a solid job of pinning down, but you can only use them like... you can't use them that much more often than an off-map, because... and they're less efficient than an off-map with their call-in, because they're just so damn low in damage and so high in consumption, so they get through your supply trucks really rapidly. So they're less cost efficient, they have longer reload times, and they might not even give you more than like 3 shots in a game anyway, so like, yeah. Naval for 42s are different, like Andreyushas are different stories, because those are dangerous against tanks. But like, yeah, Naval for 41s you would like more to use against infantry and stuff, but against those they don't deal enough damage. Like, let's see, if 3 of them can take out the units in the south here. Like, they might actually be able to do that now, because they're so heavily massed. But yeah, no. Like, you see, like the T-70s were killed by other things. And that's 3 naval warfares for you. That's like 1 supply truck load of ammunition to resupply all of them. And it will take them like 2 minutes or so to do so. So yeah. Naval warfares need a buff, like the Naval Warfare 41s. I think the 42s and Andreyushas, you don't want to buff them too much, because then they just get absolutely obnoxious. And I don't know if you want to like buff damage or anything on the Naval Warfare 41s. I kind of like where they are, like damage-wise maybe, but like just lower the supply consumption per rocket, and maybe the reload time also by like a couple of seconds, so that they become this pin down tool that is actually good in its job of like pinning down stuff, and you know that's what you're using it for, but like you know that killing something with it is just a nice side effect when it happens. Yeah, like here, Wolf Ramens and those things are also pretty nice. But like the best are still the Rheinwerfers, I think. Especially before the nerf they just got lately. Like before that they were just insane. Before that they were like, oh yeah, our because Hydra messed it up, so that they can use normal mortar rounds 12 at a time, or they could use normal smoke shells. But the normal smoke shells were not normal smoke shells, because actually they also dealt HE damage. So you could smoke onto an enemy position, and at the same time pin anything down on that smoke position or kill it off on the smoke position. But that bug, like, in my eyes, sadly has been fixed, like, because that's a pretty funny side effect. But obviously it was a bit stupid. But still funny. Yeah, like Wolfram are pretty accurate, and they also deal quite good damage, so they actually kill tanks and so on. The issue with Wolfram is that their shots fly in a really high arc and are rather slow, so if the enemy sees it coming and like can somewhat predict the shot and like what you're targeting, he can actually micro out most of the vehicles out of it, like other than maybe Churchill or so, which is too slow. But like most medium tanks can just run away from a Wolfram shot, and if the enemy is knowing that it's coming and like has spotted the Wolfram, and that's always an issue with them. Like I've done it more than a couple of times, especially on maps like Krupa, where the enemy is like bound to bring in artillery at some point, and if he has a Wolfram division, I'm always watching out for that. Or like, try to remember watching out for that. Not always, but yeah. So, that's the issue with Wolfram. Like, if they hit, they deal actually good damage, but the enemy can micro against it. Which I think is fine, but yeah, just to give you guys a warning. Okay, so more AA pieces now coming in for Graham. A couple of 20mm flags. Bringing in 20mm. IL-2KR might actually go down here. Let's see. Ooh, it's close. No, it actually gets out. Yeah, only 20mm AA is not good. Especially as this IL-2KR actually killed off a mortar and so on. So, will they actually start to use their airplay now? Artillery constantly fires, now trying to hit the tank park over here. More 20mm coming in. 42 minutes on the clock. Still nothing happening in the north. Nothing at all. Let's see where this goes. P-34 76s engaging over here. Su-76s brought it back up. And it looks like Nulla and Graham start to a bit run out of AT. Like, it's not that many Stokes and T-34s and so on over here anymore, but Madri's still coming in. It's still a 12-12. Like, the grind might continue for a while. The artillery really starts to kill off the infantry on the other side. Like, infantry-wise, it looks like Nilla and Graham will have more, but infantry alone doesn't help you against T-34s. What is this? Is it 120mm? No. Another 82mm mortar. Like, some 120mm mortars would be nice as well. Because those deal a lot of damage. Especially if you get them as close as these 82mm mortars, so they actually are pretty accurate. Like, if you use 120mm mortars on the max range, they are just super inaccurate, so you don't want to do that. At least the ones without radio. But if you can get like into 2000 meter or 2500 meter range of the enemy, like 120mm mortars become really, really dangerous. And really deadly. Artillery now starts to finally hit the mortars of the enemy. That could have been done quite a while ago. Also, AA is under fire. Like, Nilla and Graham could play the air game as well, by just hitting the enemy artillery and then hit their ground units with air. Like, both sides maybe underuse air a bit overall. And don't see it as a win condition just yet. More Martyrs and Stooks coming in. Strelky's now trying to push in. Skijäger Führer over here though, holding pretty well. Gets supported by tanks as well. Sturmskijäger is getting hit. And artillery pieces now hit the front line once more to counter the push. Skijäger Sturmführer now getting a bit closer into MP40 range. And there they will beat the Strelkys easily. What are they doing? What the hell? What is this? Oh boy. Oh boy, what was that? Nilla letting his guys dance a bit there. I haven't seen that in a while. Was that just him showing off with his micro, or what was that? Might have been him really, like, kind of stutter stepping, like how you do it with, like, similar to how you do it with Marines, or like just so that the enemy doesn't fully get. Is it enough? Can you make it so that the enemy doesn't fire back that way because they have to, like? I don't know. I don't know if that was on purpose or if it was just some with the unit glitching around. Oh boy! And this artillery park was a bit too close together. And the Andreyusha exploiting that. Ooh! Yeah. Here you can see these are good rockets. One direct hit and the unit is gone. Oh boy. Yeah, that's the difference between Andreyushas and Naval Warfare 41s. Like, this artillery park was way too close to each other. And Andreyusha can exploit that. We're back to a 12-12 situation. Now let's see. 46 minutes in. E34 getting killed off. And no worries, guys. These decks will not go on for 90 minutes. All of these decks are too shallow for that. And as they play them Vanguard, like obviously the 2v2 Vanguard deck is a bit deeper than a 1v1 Vanguard deck, but even then, I don't think these decks can go on for 90 minutes. So yeah, I'm not too worried in that regard. 82mm mortars over here. Strelky's coming in. More Strelky's joining. M42 in the north now. Ooh, and units going into the north. Is that possible? I thought maybe this side of the map is bugged and you can't do any commands up there, but it doesn't seem to be that case anymore. I don't know what M42s have to do up there. Like, they're not of any use there. There's no armored units whatsoever. But hey, good to know that the north is actually something where you can use units in. Here we continue. 5mm coming in over here. Well, time limit option would be nice. So I know that after 40 minutes I can go on with my life. But yeah, or like 50 minutes or 1 hour. Time limit shouldn't be forced on anyone though. Like if you don't want to play with time limits, you shouldn't have to. Big parts of the community already in Steel Division Normandy 44 did like no time limit games. I think it's fine to do the same here. Ooh, Strelkys with T34 has to run. Okay, good micro there by Nilla. Strelkys have to go back. Like, in all of these massing of units, it gets a bit lost, but both sides are really good at micro. Like, it's really hard to point it out when all of these units clash into each other, but the micro on both sides in this game overall was really solid. So, yeah. I know Frublord earlier said in chat he can't see the skill in it, but you can if you look closer. But obviously it's it's under a lot of just explosions all around the map coming in from artillery pieces. There is good plays and there are also misplays here to find time again, like the naval warfare 42 right here. Like, yeah. Both macro and micro-wise, there's a lot in this game to learn. For example, use the second half of the map if you have the opportunity. It's so easy for this. Don't know if they had an agreement to not use it. Like, it kind of feels like it. Like, oh yeah, we have this whole part of the map. Let's not do anything there whatsoever. IL-2's now coming in. Where are they going? Also, at this point, I would have just used some planes. If I have planes in a 2v2 game like this, I would just fly them around the middle of the map just to drain the enemy AA out of shells. Like, at this point, that's a long game plan you can do as well. You can see that in my latest 1v1 on YouTube. Like, I did that against in a 1v1 on Cell, where I trained the enemy Flak 88s out of shells. So they weren't a danger to my airplay anymore. And like, you can do the same here. Ooh, J80. Is that action in the north? Do we really finally see action in the north? It's not even killing anything, but hey. We see action in the north, and artillery actually firing there as well. Oh my god! What is this heresy? J87D3 goes down. Not quite sure, but that was worth it then. Yeah. And Nilla has awoken the north with his move. Skijager's coming in. Ooh, going a bit too deep there. First one getting killed off. And now Jack realizing and Nate realizing, oh yeah, you actually can use the north on you. Oh yeah, there's no AA. Let's use IL-2KRs and let's bring in some T-34s. Because why the hell not? And I mean, it's a couple minutes later than I pointed it out, but at least I realized it at some point. And I'm getting worried now for Nilla and Graham in the north, because sure, they were the ones starting it right now, but yeah, this push doesn't work out whatsoever. These Sturmskijägers just get absolutely annihilated. And the south is still a grind. But now the other guys are investing into the north, and they have the air superiority over here, so yeah, this is scary now for Nilla and Graham. I don't know about deck-specific incomes. I think decks should be more limited in what they have and so on, but like, deck-specific incomes make it, like, if you have 60 different decks and all of them have deck-specific incomes, first of all, balancing them all out is hell. Second of all, as a new player coming into it, it's annoying as well. And third, I think like half of the community at least likes it this way as it is at the moment, where they just have their go-to income and they go with that and so on, or they can just toss around their decks. Like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of deck-specific incomes. I rather would like to see the incomes that we have at the moment getting a bit more balanced again, and then like make decks more unique by changing limiting veterancy a bit more and availability a bit more. Like, more so veterancy, I think, than availability, but both of these could be a bit more limited, and then I think decks would be absolutely fine in their uniqueness. Yeah. But I think on the basic, this system here is better than in Normandy. Like, I like to be able to play my Kurik as Vanguard, as V for Victory, and as Juggernaut, and having it played completely differently. Other than still being infantry spam. But yeah, like things like that. As I said, like, it's just unrealistic to get all these incomes for 60 divisions right. Like, when everyone has their own income and so on. I mean, already in Normandy, some divisions were just useless based on their income, and I really disliked that. So, yeah. And we have players like, for example, US Buster John, who likes his V for Victory and likes to build decks into V for Victory and different ones. And if you would limit that to him to only be like 1 or 2 divisions that he get play V for Victory with that income, I think he would dislike that quite a bit. And Stormskegers. Plus, like, with 60 divisions, the incomes would feel pretty similar as well. Like, you can't make them super unique for every division. Like, the changes will be in like 5-point differences and so on. So, like, it's not like the incomes in Steel Division Normandy were super crazy unique and so on. So, yeah. Just being forced to have that Vanguard deck. Like, okay, for now on second tank division is the Vanguard deck, third guards tank corps is the Juggernaut deck, and so on. Like, okay, but you can also just build a Juggernaut, third guards tank corps, and a Vanguard second now, and be fine with that. Like, that's my point of view on it. Whilst we have the grind continue. Both sides now trying to use air. L2 getting a kill on T-34. Will it get out alive? If so, that was a success, but ooh, it's getting really low. And it goes down. So, not a success after all. Like, yeah, using air in the south is rough. And now AA is coming up in the north as well. Is the push imminent in the north for Jack and Graham? Like, yeah, I think a couple of them should go... Like, I think V for Victory needs a slight buff. And maybe Vanguard one more slight nerf. And then I think everything is fine. Like, make it 140, 130, 100. And make V for Victory... Give V for Victory a bit more on V-Phase. And then I think it would be fine. Like, give them 5 more points in B-Phase. Like, those are the 2 changes. I think then Flatline would make sense against Vanguard again. Maybe you would have to take something away from Balanced as well. But not quite sure you would have to. Like, maybe you would have to lower Vanguard by... Nah, I don't think Balanced, but I don't think so. Like, yeah. At the moment, like in 1v1, a lot of people just don't play Balanced because they just don't want to get into that meat-grindy late game anyways. So I think if we would have a time limit and people like Gonzo and so on would try out Balanced once more, we could see Balanced meta coming up as well. But at the moment, they just don't bother because they don't want to play that game. So that's why they go with the offensive incomes. So we don't even quite know if the aggressive incomes are that much better than Balanced, for example. We just see it more played because it's the more fun playstyle for a lot of people. Nah, if you would get the old Flatline back, it would just be... I mean, old Flatline was the only income back then, and now all the other incomes have are lowered. So, getting the old Flatline back would just absolutely break the system. With 130, 130, 130. Like, it was the best income then, and it would be super insane now. Like, yeah, nah. Nah. So we are at 58 minutes now. 85 minutes. And it is 13:11. Once more. 40 minutes on the clock for Jack and Nate. Bring it back to a 12-12. And they still haven't pushed in the north. And I still don't get why. Like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. Easy taking. Especially as you now have AA up here. Like, just push with the AA, just push with the infantry, follow up with the tanks, use your planes then, and be done with it. Like, this is... Just take the map, win it. Or lose it in the south because you just run out of stuff and then get overrun here. Question is, how much longer can these artillery guns fire, or will they run out of ammunition at some point? Yeah, but I'm better. I'm feeling better with Flatline being useless at the moment and Flatline being again the only income to play, because Flatline is the most boring income, like on paper. Oh boy, here we go. The SPAM is coming in the south. Oh boy. Just plain out, overwhelming the enemy AA pieces. Killing off 2 of them now. ME-109 goes down. No plane on the other side going down so far. IL-2KR gets a flak kill. And yeah, that's what I should have done quite a couple of minutes ago. And Tamans, you should return home. You should have come first and not last. Like, calling in the Taman last when it's the slowest planes is just asking for trouble. Like, these Tamans will not get home if they continue their... to fly in there. They will all go down. I mean, at the moment, IL-2KR still takes a bit of fire for them, but... they're just too slow. Do they actually get a kill here? Don't tell me they actually get a kill until the... No, the Flak 41 is not there anymore. Enough. And they will all go down. First one down, second one down. Yeah, this was a misplay on the Tamans. Big waste. Well, like, I guess not big waste, but waste of the U2s. Because they could, like, have taken the fire on the front, being the first one in. Like, Tamans are the first one in and the last one out because they're just so slow. Like, send them in, wait till they're here, and then calling your other planes. And then they hit at the same time. And then you have a chance of your... then your U2s absorb some fire and get out. So, yeah. More AA now coming in. Overall, I think it was still a success, killing off the flak feeling and 2 more flak half-tracks. So, yeah, even though they get a couple more 20mm now, there's less AA than there was before. And it's still a 12-12. It's still a 12-12. Okay. 12-12 continues. And the 105mm opening fire once more. Ooh, another flak going down over here. T-34 is pushing it. T-34 going down though, for it. Second one is trying to get the kill there. Oh, but now changing targets. Will avoid the Stuk. We'll get the flak 38 before it goes... Yeah, okay, good. So, a bit less AA once more. 3 more M30s coming in now. Artillery over here still firing, but how is the supply situation? So this one has still quite a bit. This one is empty. This one is okay. Empty, 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 empty. Yeah, all empty. Nearly empty. All of these are empty. Like, yeah, like these naval warfares ate up 4 supply trucks and didn't deal much damage for it. So, supply situation actually gets dire here, maybe. Like, I mean, it's... yeah. If they don't have a sea phase card, and they might not have one, then this is actually really bad for them. Also, what's happening in the north? Like, why do you set up so many forces and then don't push? I don't get it. We're up to 1311 though, as they get the hill now. And... yeah, if they run out of artillery shells, situation gets really rough for Nilla and Graham if they don't use, like, a really good air spam, and they might not have any useful fighter, like anything other than fighters in the deck, so might not have anything useful to hit the front line. And as they don't barrage the enemy AA pieces with their artillery, but rather hit the front line, which often is the least effective usage of artillery pieces. Like, they're not that good in killing tanks, and they're not that amazing in killing infantry either. I would, like, usually you want to hit the enemy guns, like their AA guns, their AT guns, their artillery pieces. As those are slower to move, and also a direct hit against them deals a lot of damage. Bring it back to a 12-12 parity. That starts to look bad for the Axis here. Even with all that artillery fire. More skiers coming out. And oh boy, this Underusha could be really devastating. Oh boy, that was a pretty good rocket there. Oh, this battery thrower is down. Oh god, this Underusha is so deadly. This Stuk might get out, but everything else took a lot of damage there. One Stuk going down, one Flak going down. So yeah, that's again the difference between good rocket artillery and bad rocket artillery. MG42 over here gets killed off. The 1311. M30s hitting the enemy SK-18. Why is there no push up here? I still don't get it. You have air superiority, you have AA up here, you have like overwhelming forces by so much, and you still don't push. Like, what the hell? Like, at this point you don't even need to reinforce it anymore. Like, obviously a couple of reinforcements would be even better, but... this is getting stupid. P2s. They come in too early though. They don't have any target to spot it yet. And the P2s you want to use actually for ground strafing, no? I mean, that P2s are garbage overall. Like, sure, you're only costing 65 points, but even your firepower to the front is really horrible. You don't have any 20 mils, and this is, yeah, like 20 mils is what dealing damage. But hey, killing off all the enemy AA this way, I guess, is also doing the job. V109 actually might get the kill onto the IL-2s. V109 over here gets shut down, but if you get all the IL-2s and all the things that deal damage to the ground, the P2s get pretty useless. And V109 still go down. What are these P2s doing here? Like, they're not even ground strafing. No, they try to, but they're pretty horrible at it. Will they be able to kill off this half-track? No, they won't. Because they don't deal any damage whatsoever. So even 65 points, like... I don't know. Like, there's a lot of planes... Like, one other plane that costs like 130 points is worth more than 2 P2s. In my eyes, so... And card availability is not that great, so overall... I would rather have other stuff. The only thing they're good at is taking enemy ground fire, I guess. So, yeah, in the end, this half-track goes down. But against anything with any deck with better AA, this would have worked out. ME109 though, it wouldn't have worked out. ME109 though goes down, and now there's next to 0 AA over here at all, and all the fighters went down as well. So, yeah, the situation for the Axis is rough. They are out of ammunition. Or they're running out of ammunition for their artillery pieces. They're running out of air. They're basically out of AA. And in the north, at any time, Jack and Nate could push and just win the game. Hey there, Decadites! Thanks for the raid. Hello to everyone coming in with that. Welcome to the channel. Whilst you're watching this utter clusterfuck that is this game at... Look, it's this fight on this hill. Whenever I had to fight on this in the tournament on this map, I always cried before the game already, and then I cried throughout the game, and then I cried after the game as well, because it's just such an utter pain to play on. But I usually tried some Hail Mary pushes up here, and try to be done with it. Like, I didn't try to like get into a long grindy game. Nichts ist normal. Thanks for the subscription. In the second month in a row. Much appreciated. You're getting closer to getting a new color onto your icon. Getting close to green, I think? Or is blue? Is it blue or green, the second one? I'm not quite sure. I think it's green. And yeah. Yeah, at this point, we will just speed it up. 20 minutes left. Smoke in the south, because that's the only shells left on these things, but there's nothing to follow it up with. Like, what the hell? More Strelkies and AA pieces coming in, and still nobody pushing the north. 11 minutes on the clock, though. Ooh, boy. Will they do it? Will they just take them down? More Stormski Jägers coming in. Yeah, if you're an absolute greenhorn, you will be in Division 5, obviously. Yeah. If you're having a bit of experience, then Division 4 is where you will be at. But like, if you're an absolute greenhorn, then Division 5 is the right place to go. Ooh, PE2 is coming in everywhere. ME109 actually gets through the PE2 cloud. Like, that's how bad PE2s are, but the ME109 goes down as there's enough AA and back gunners firing at it, rear gunners. 2's trying to get off their rockets. Yeah. Now we're starting to strafe enemy artillery pieces, I see. The damage is so laughable. Like, at least something like a BF 110 or so has quite a couple of 20mm, or a Bowfighter. Like, those planes are horrible in air engagements as well, but at least they win a head-on, and they at least deal some significant damage when hitting the enemy ground. Like, a Bowfighter is actually insane in the firepower that it has onto the ground. I think I have to play a New Zealand game sometime soon where I just abuse their amount of firepower to the front and just see how much damage it deals when you use them as a ground attacker. Well, yeah, Gebirgsjäger Division would be nice. Gebirgsjäger Division would be nice. 13-11 here for Nella and Graham. So 8 minutes on the clock, but the question is, can they hold on to it? Mother is in danger. Artillery pieces still somehow firing, a couple of them. But there's just so much air, and yeah. Even now, some artillery pieces as well for Jack. Firing. And if it really becomes desperate, they might finally start pushing in the north and realize that there's nothing there. But for now, they bring it back to a 12-12 and call in the Okumacheki and M42 push. On the other side, it's Ski Führers, 7G42s, and some Pioneers. I think both sides start to run low on stuff. Hey, Reef. How you doing? Hashtag stay hydrated, guys. Rockets hitting everywhere. Ooh, Martyr goes down. M42 coming up. Panzerschreck coming in as well. And IL-2M not getting its rockets off. 12-12 continues. Smoke coming in. And Yak hitting the south. 13-11 again. Ooh, will they actually do it? Like, that would be insane if... Like, I would be quite mad on Jack and Nate if they're actually able to lose that here right now, because they just have the air advantage and they have so much in the north by now. The opposition in the north is near non-existent, so with all their airplay they just easily break through there. And it's like too often the issue with people being too focused on where the action is instead of like trying to bring it somewhere else. Especially with their air usage, like running into the enemy AA instead of running in where the enemy doesn't have any AA whatsoever. And I mean, this hill is still pretty well defended by Nilla and Graham. So yeah, we'll might still take a couple of run-ins by air to get to break through there. Especially as they micro them, like here. 2KR though gets the kill. Yeah, by now there's no AA opposition whatsoever anymore, so at this point looks like they will manage to do the job. But really, this in the north, I just don't get. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a grand scale RTS after all, like stuff like stamina and so on being represented onto your infantry is just too fiddly. Like, it's not a simulator and it's a fast-paced grand scale RTS, so like relatively fast-paced. So compared to something like an Age of Empires, for example. Not quite as fast as StarCraft 2, that is, but yeah. So I don't think something like a stamina bar or so is helpful. Like, it doesn't help the gameplay much. It maybe helps the immersion a bit, but that shouldn't be your focus in an RTS game. Like, it's not a simulator after all. It's an RTS that tries to be as authentic as possible, like in its how battles pan out and like and so on, but it's not trying to be fully realistic. Like, I mean, that's not possible in if you really want to have a RTS that plays well. After all, and it just becomes frustrating in multiplayer as well. It's like, yeah, too many statistics like that. Plus, as those would just be another game mechanic, someone would find an exploit, and in the end it might end like more gamey than before. Like, that's always the thing. Like, oh yeah, like in real life soldiers have stamina, so let's put in the stamina bar, and then someone finds a way to like get it really fast back up or something, and then it's just even gamier than before, and like one more way to break the game. Like, you always have to think about that. Like, it's the stamina bar is not how stamina works in real life either. Like, so, yeah. Like, representing how stamina really works in real life is a bit much for a game like that. So, yeah. Hey, see you, Hamsick. Leaving us just before the game starts to be will be over, so... We're at a 12-12. They're still not pushing in the north. Looks like the allies are out, the Axis are out of stuff. One Panzerschreck coming in. Like 40 getting hit in the north. Really, they could have ended this game so long ago. Jack and Nate, that is. By just using their insane air force in the north instead of the south. E2 coming in. What the hell are these orders? Like, why? There's no enemy AA anyway. Okay, but yeah, you could just use the IL-2 for strafing runs, you know? And yeah, attack the north. Yeah, this feels kind of stupid. Some snipers coming in, okay. And there's the other guy is just completely dry, and they don't have the forces anymore to push. They don't have any tanks, and without any tanks you can't push into this. So yeah, nah. P2 rockets getting used. Skager Führer over here getting hit. Yak 9 hitting the infantry over here. G34 actually might die over here, because the Panzerschreck will kill it. Yeah. But the flag in the center will fall now, because the infantry will get pushed out of it. There's just so much air. Panzerschreck gets hit on the move. Look at Chicky coming in. They're not even able to kill. Okay, 2 of them are able to. And yeah, Milder surrenders. And Grams surrenders. And after an insane grindy game, Jack and Nate are able to finish off the game and get into the next round, where they hopefully will ban this map and don't have to play on it. Like, GGVP to them, but this game went way over where it needed to go in length, and oh boy, like, what a game. What a slug, but still, GGVP to them. But I just wish they would have found the weakness in the north and just used that opportunity to actually win the game that way. But anyways, yeah, GGVP to them. Yeah, that's all the games I will cast today. So what I'm gonna do now is, I have 1 more hour left, so I will put up a real quick vote for what to do next, and then we will do that. Yeah, the options are Steel Division,